Your forecast first with KSN Storm Track 3, sponsored by Midway Motors.
Good morning, Kansas. Looks like our forecast first showing that bitter cold, and it's not going anywhere. Starting off well below zero this morning, and that's going to make for some very dangerous wind chills. Wind chill warning remaining in effect all the way through the morning hours. Once we get into the afternoon, technically a little bit better than how we started the work week. Staying right at zero yesterday, but able to make it up to 8 degrees. Even better days to come, but not before another chance of snow. All that and more coming up in your Storm Track 3 forecast. Your news starts now.
This is Kansas Today on KSN News 3.
Yeah, some say it gets worse before it could get better. Saw my car yesterday, read -10, today -11. So nonetheless, we're starting below zero today, but things are only going to get better as we head into the weekend. But we got to get there. We got to get to the midpoint of the week. Welcome to Kansas Day on a very cold Tuesday morning. I'm Bret Buganski.
And I'm Gwyn Bevel. That's exactly where we're going to start. We begin in the deep freeze. The state remains under Governor Laura Kelly's disaster emergency order due to the weather and those rolling blackouts. Power companies are working to conserve power to keep the electric grid from going offline. Many schools, churches, and events are closed today. Weather conditions are just too dangerous. See your school district or event at the bottom of your screen there. You can also check online over at KSN.com. And the emergency accident reporting plan remains in effect for the city of Wichita. So that means if you're involved in a crash and no one is hurt and both cars are drivable, just exchange information with the other driver and then fill out a report at a Quick Trip or online.
We are part of the millions just waiting for this winter storm to pass, but some of you are still braving the elements to get to work. Perhaps you got a doctor's appointment here. So let's get right outside. This is Storm Tracker 3. It is just getting going right down Main Street, but just to give you a little perspective here in downtown Wichita, we are tracking that snow. Eisenhower Airport measured almost 4 inches of snow. Downtown Wichita, 5 inches. El Dorado 5.2, and just keep in mind, Wichita Public Schools going all remote learning today. Wichita State University is going to be closed today, and Friends University, they're going all remote today, but you can see the road conditions there, still very icy conditions, so you got to be careful out there. But just another perspective here, some of the area schools that are going to be closed: Andover, Derby, Newton, and Goddard. So let's take a look at a network of our Skyview cameras across the region here. Hutchinson, once again, looks like it's just a little bit more before people get going here. They had about 3.3 inches of snow. The school district, USD 308, is going to be going remote learning today. Hutchinson Community College also going to be closed today. And in the Hutchinson area, Haven Public Schools, USD 312 closed today. And then in Nickerson, USD 309, they're going to be going all remote learning today. USD 376 going to be closed today. So let's move on here. Good morning to you, Pratt. Looking at those road conditions, still a little snow on the ground. That being said, USD 382 is going to be closed today. And in nearby Haviland, USD 474 also going to be closed today. And just to put this into perspective, it hasn't been this cold in the Wichita area since February of 1936. Just an amazing perspective here, the historical perspective of just how far back we have to go to remember when it's been this cold for the month of February.
Yeah, not exactly a record we want to even dance near, right, Brett? 1936, we were in the middle of the Great Depression and FDR was in the White House. And now we're bringing in meteorologist Ronelle Williams because, folks, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to get any warmer anytime soon.
Yeah.
In fact, we've got, like you said, more chances on the way.
Yeah, that's right. We've got the cold, the snow, still not going anywhere when it comes to our forecast. It's really going to be a slow crawl out of that deep freeze, though. It is coming. Just got to continue to pack that patience, though. So we've got a wind chill warning. This is what I want to start off with. Things still dangerously cold out there. Expecting our wind chills similar to what we woke up to yesterday. All we need is the slightest breeze, and regardless of where you are, could have those wind chills as low as 20 to even nearly 40 below. Minus 20 right now is what it feels like in Bret. Feels like 22 below in Colby. Notice some of our locations not registering a wind chill, and that's because there's barely any wind. But again, all we need is that slightest breeze, and it's going to make it feel dangerously cold out there. Great Bend Skyview camera. Notice we're actually seeing more snow down in some of our parking lots versus the actual main roads out there. So still worth maybe giving yourselves just a couple of extra minutes this morning, but otherwise definitely not going to be as bad of a commute as what we experienced yesterday, the day before, to wrap up the weekend. Highs single digits to the teens today. We should be able to see some sun, though. Storm Tracker satellite radar we'll gradually see some clearing as we go through the day, and that means most of us should be able to start the day off with a pretty nice sunrise. But check this out. We've already got another winter weather advisory, more winter weather alerts going into effect. So I'm tracking that next chance of snow coming up in that full Storm Track 3 forecast.
Yeah, at least when we look across the country, we're not alone here in Kansas,
Definitely
right?
not.
Everybody's kind of feeling that freeze right now. All right, Ronelle, we're going to take a look at some more sky view looks across our state. Take a look at Garden City this morning. Lots of snow still there on the ground. USD 457 there in Garden City closed today. Also, the library will be closed because of these really cold conditions. How about good morning, Dodge City? Dodge City, again, school will be closed today. Sacred Heart School will not have classes, and Dodge City Community College will also be closed. How about we head out to Hayes now? Their school will be closed as well. This seems to be the common theme as we move across the state this morning. Hayes Holy Family Elementary, they will be remote learning today. La Crosse, USD 395, they're closed today. Waukene closed, and Salina will also be closed. You know, you can get the latest information right there on your phone. All you have to do is install the free Storm Track 3 weather app. And that winter storm has brought a huge portion of our country to a standstill, as Ronelle and I were just talking about it. Power outages, car crashes, planes grounded, logistics frozen in time. NBC's Dan Chinnaman on the freezing temperature stretching now from the southwest all the way to the northeast.
Winter weather is now severe weather across much of the country. Some 130 million Americans under weather alerts. More than a foot of snow fell in Chicago, creating almost whiteout conditions.
Over 300 snow vehicles, which are plowing the streets and spreading salt as we speak. They are covering 9,400 miles of roads.
In Texas, icy roads causing this truck to jackknife near Austin, while Dallas is under a thick layer of white. Power was knocked out at a Houston healthcare facility. Workers there scrambled to use more than 8,000 doses of coronavirus vaccine. Some college students raced to receive the shots.
I'm 21, so I'm not even in the risk category. So I just feel very lucky that Rice is able to do this, and I feel good that I'm going to be safer for everyone around me.
The deep freeze also hitting the deep south. In Mississippi, a mother and daughter ventured out, but first they layered up.
I made sure she's got tights and thermal pants, 2 pairs of socks, her boots, 2 jackets, and a long shirt.
In Louisiana, a very rare snow day.
I mean, we probably won't see another one for about a decade, so just enjoying it.
The cold weather expected to last in much of the country for at least one more day. Dan Chinnaman, NBC News.
Coming up on Today, much more on the punishing winter storm that is sweeping our country. That's on Today, right here after Kansas Today.
That being said, challenging week for coronavirus vaccinations. The weather shut down some pop-up vaccination sites, but some are still giving the vaccine, or some are getting the vaccine whenever or wherever they can. The federal government delivered more than 70 million doses to healthcare facilities all across our country, and 52 million people have their first shot of the vaccine, and about 14 million people are fully vaccinated. Speaking of, did his administration hold back information? We have some reports out now saying that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo didn't release all the information about how many people died from coronavirus in nursing homes. About 1,500 people died in long-term care facilities, but the state reported just 8,500 deaths. Tom Negevin shows you why some want Cuomo impeached.
These decisions are not political decisions. They're all made on the best information the medical professionals have at the time.
New York's governor responding to several days of reports that his administration deliberately withheld data about the number of COVID deaths in the state's nursing homes. He's under fire from fellow Democrats, Republicans calling for his resignation.
We're going to be filing criminal complaints because she has on taped confessions admitted that she lied.
She is powerful Cuomo aide Melissa DeRosa, a regular presence at the state's COVID briefings and defender of its response.
I would argue at this point, New York puts out more data on deaths than any other state.
DeRosa is heard on a recorded call first obtained by the New York Post, saying information about COVID deaths in nursing homes was withheld to avoid a federal investigation by the then Trump Department of Justice, saying, quote, We froze out of fear the deaths would be used against us. In a statement last week, attempting to clarify, saying, I was explaining that when we received the DOJ inquiry, we needed to temporarily set aside the legislature's request to deal with the federal request first. DeRosa's boss praised early in the pandemic for his straightforward response, now on the defensive, admitting there was a lack of information, but saying it was an honest mistake, not an attempt to deceive.
The truth is everybody did everything they could. The truth is you had the best medical professionals and advice on the globe. The truth is it was in the middle of a terrible pandemic. The truth is COVID attacks senior citizens. The truth is, with all we know, people still die in nursing homes today. People still die every day.
Tom Nuggman reporting there. So let's take a look now at the long-term care facilities across our state. So since the beginning of the pandemic, our state reported more than 14,000 COVID cases inside those long-term care facilities. 1,700 people died. That's about 39% of the 4,400 COVID-related deaths in our state. And that vulnerable population was among the first to get the vaccines. 291,000 are fully vaccinated. Half are over the age of 65, and about 400,000 received at least one shot. Now, as of Monday, 10% of our state's population is vaccinated. And that being said, if you have any questions about where you can get your shots, our website is a great resource for you to have. You're going to find county by county listings and answers to many of your questions. It's all on our website, KSN.com.
With the pandemic still going on, millions of Americans are still out of work and uninsured. Open enrollment is underway for the ACA. Raquel Martin has more on President Biden's effort to provide access to affordable care, while the Supreme Court's decision to derail the ACA altogether looms.
This special enrollment period is starting now.
From February 15th to May 15th, millions of uninsured Americans will have another chance to sign up for Affordable Care Act insurance.
It's good if you need coverage to get it right away.
Laura Packard, executive director of the nonprofit Get America Covered, says with the pandemic still roaring and millions out of work, it's vital Americans get the care they need.
The research that I've seen can show possibly permanent lung and heart changes to your body if you get sick with COVID.
That's why the White House says it's reopened enrollment and is pouring millions of dollars into spreading the word. But looming in the background is the highly anticipated Supreme Court decision that could eliminate Obamacare altogether.
I think the ACA is going to stick around for a little bit.
Doug Badger, a healthcare policy expert with the Conservative Heritage Foundation, says he doubts the justices will scrap the entire plan, but still wants to see Congress tackle reform.
I think it is very, very expensive for taxpayers. The coverage is not what most people want. And I think there are better ways to address this.
People should still sign up.
Packard says she's also optimistic Obamacare is here to stay. She says Congress should pass reforms in President Biden's proposed $1.9 trillion COVID relief package to bring down costs and expand access further. In Washington, Raquel Martin.
One rink, one puck, and one great cause.
It is the slap shot to beat cancer. We're going to show you how it's now in the record books. 4:43.
You're watching Kansas Today with Bret Buganski, Gwyn Bevel, and meteorologist Ronelle Williams.
Welcome back, everyone. Hockey players are, of course, used to these really, really cold temperatures. They certainly don't scare them away, even in -59.
I mean, I don't know about -59, but that was the temperature in Canada, and it happened during the world's longest hockey game. David Iwaksuk shows you why they've been playing since February 4th.
After 10.5 days non-stop, it finally came to an end. The world's longest hockey game now over.
And your generosity and all the donors, you make the world a better place. And it's hard to believe that it really exists this way. Thank you so very much.
Hard to believe it came together so well for 39 men and 1 woman, isolated because of COVID protocols, playing continual shifts, skating for loved ones afflicted by cancer. The fundraising hockey game saw more than 5,000 pucks go in the nets, but the only goal that mattered, raising $1.5 million for a hematological cancer clinical trial. They broke that record as well. The tally now north of $1.8 million. The fundraiser could have been halted at any moment if even one player tested positive for COVID, but it was the weather that was the biggest threat. The coldest temperature recorded during the game, -39. The average playing temperature throughout, -26. So cold that hockey pucks were being shattered when they hit goalposts. But organizer Brent Sake, who lost his father and then his wife to cancer, shrugged off the weather.
This is a piece of cake. No, our conditions were fine. Our prayers are for people that their conditions are a lot worse than what we went through, and that's why we do this.
It's not the first time Sake has broken the world record in support of cancer fundraising. It's the 7th game he's put together. He vows that even though this one has ended, as long as people want to donate, they'll play on.
It's amazing when you put things in perspective, because you look at those hockey shifts, they're on the ice going 30 seconds, maybe up to a minute and a half, going as fast as they can on the ice. And it's just amazing. They say, yeah, we've been doing it for 10 days, but it's nothing compared to people who are dealing with cancer, what they go through.
Yeah, and what a great unified effort that was, Bret, knowing that so many lives are impacted in some way or another by cancer.
Yeah, looking at the thing, it's all weather related. And speaking of the weather, you know what they say, it's only going to get worse before it gets better. But how much worse can it possibly get? Meteorologist Ronelle Williams breaks it all down for you. There is a glimmer of hope, though, at 4:48. It's not exactly science when you look at your odometer in the morning. You see -11 right there. It was yesterday morning, -10. So I guess it's getting worse before it gets better.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned it's not exact science, because, yeah, you just look at some of the temperatures and it's like, all right, it's cold again outside. I know enough. I know to put the long johns on, make sure I take a few extra minutes to warm up the car, and we're going to need to do the same exact thing as we go through today. But unlike yesterday, not really seeing a whole lot of snowfall, at least until we get into later on this evening. I'll get into that in just a moment. First, though, our temperatures. Got to talk about this wind chill warning. Still covers the entire area. This is going to remain in effect all the way through this morning for the potential for wind chills anywhere between 20 to nearly 40 below. It feels like 25 below in Great Bend, down to 31 below for a wind chill in Hayes. So, yeah, definitely got to make sure that we pack those layers on. The bitter cold not going anywhere, so those layers, they're going to be needed all the way through the afternoon, even after that wind chill advisory is allowed to expire. Taking a quick look outside, Garden City sky view camera, not really all that bad. We'll take a look closer locally here in just a moment. It's -7 though, so this is what's still keeping a lot of that snow on the ground, because things are so cold, not really allowing a whole lot of that snow to melt, and then we haven't really gotten a whole lot of sunshine. I know the clouds were able to break yesterday. Skies were pretty bright off to the west, but still not enough to melt a whole lot of that snow out there. So our high temperatures today, teens to single digits. That's going to be the best that we'll be able to do. Getting into our low temperatures tonight, it looks like we'll wake up not as bitter as what we've woken up to the last couple of mornings. I still do see a few of our low temperatures dropping down below 0, but nothing like what we're experiencing now or what we experienced yesterday, where we were seeing lows -10, -11, -12. So that's just going to be a sign of better things to come by tomorrow. High of 15 degrees, 20 degrees on Thursday, and it's just going to be a slow crawl out of the deep freeze, eventually getting back above freezing by the time we get into this upcoming weekend. So the warm-up is coming. It's just going to take some time as we go through the rest of this week. Those skies, they'll generally see some clearing from west to east as we go through this morning, starting the day off with a nice sunrise. Because of that, not really seeing a whole lot of that snowfall, but still keeping an eye on those road conditions here locally, where we did see a total event snow total of around 5 inches around downtown Wichita. So we've got our photographer Nick Kiefer westbound Kellogg right now. Those main roads still looking like they're in pretty good shape, but I still want you to use caution on those shoulders, especially if you're getting on those on and off ramps where those elevated surfaces still may have a little bit of snow on them. They still may be partially covered with a little bit of snow and ice, so something to keep in mind during that morning commute. We'll still keep a close eye on things as we go through this morning. Now, we've got a winter weather advisory which has been issued for portions of the Wichita Metro. Winter storm warning down into K County, Oklahoma, for what's to come starting tonight. 1 to 3 inches of snow, mainly to the south and east of that Kansas Turnpike. Lesser amounts the farther north and west you are. The majority of the area, though, the rest of our zones, not really going to see any of that snow. So it looks like things are going to get started this evening along that Kansas-Oklahoma line, and then we'll kind of see that snow work up that Kansas Turnpike and I-35 before moving out by early tomorrow morning. There still could be some snow falling for that morning commute, but it's going to be portions to the south and east of Wichita where we'll have to make sure that we keep an eye on that morning commute by tomorrow. But at least we've got those warmer temperatures in the forecast, able to help melt some of that snow a little bit later on this week. North central Kansas will be at 8 degrees today, 17 tomorrow, 26 Thursday. You can see what's going on. Day by day, we'll just see those conditions improve. The weekend ahead, not really looking all that bad. Yeah, warmer. There is going to be a weak disturbance that's going to roll through southwest Kansas. You may see increasing clouds on Saturday, but it does look like things should stay dry. Northwest Kansas also looks pretty dry over the next 7 days. And even though we've got 52 by next Monday, still going to be bitterly cold until then.
Oh, yes. Bitterly cold, I think, is an understatement right now, Ronelle.
At least we've got mild, though, a little bit later on.
All right. Hey, you know the song What Goes Up Must Come Down. Maybe we can just reverse that this morning.
I like that.
Yes.
Monday's looking good, though.
Yes. So we will be right back, everyone. Plenty more Kansas Today coming your way.